Let me play the WillE video. Let's see here.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, WillE here. We have 3 things on the agenda today. Mage boost nerfs are in, Blizzard officially recognizes the hardcore playstyle, and raid changes are going beyond just numbers. Season of Mastery is starting to look more and more like Classic Plus, and it's so important that it does well because it could pave the way for future servers which have even more changes than the ones we are seeing here. At this point in time, the beta is still open, and you can also make template level 60 characters now if you want to. Let's make a start with the Mage boost. They said in the original post they were going to be taking a crack at fixing it. Let's have a look what they have come up with. They say significantly less experience is now awarded to players who kill a creature, while in a group of 1 or more players who are at a much higher level than the creature that was slain. Already a pretty solid start to the issue. This alone would have hugely impacted boosting to the point where it would not be worth the effort.
You guys see this? Hold up.
To the issue, this alone would have hugely impacted.
Do you guys see it? What is this? Do you guys get the reference? This is Falcor. You know what this is from?
To the point where it would not be worth the effort. However, there is more, which also aims to impact gold farming for the mage player as well. Adjustments have been made to the following dungeons. In Strat, all undead creatures now gain an immunity to snare after 30 seconds of combat, gain immunity to roots after a further 30 seconds of combat. The same goes for Mara. On top of that, 30 seconds after immunity to roots, enemies gain 50% increased move speed. Any type of non-root or snare CC will reset these additional buffs.
Good.
Maids are on a 1-minute cooldown. Would this break it at all? Just a thought there. And
actually, to play the beta, you don't have to be a sub. As far as I know, the beta is free to play for whatever reason.
So for Rack, the zombies now drop less gold, and that's been distributed out to other NPCs in the instance. Pretty interesting stuff. I went over to Mara to see how the change was implemented firsthand, and let me tell you, there's no way you're going to be kiting the entire dungeon from Earthsong Falls. The mobs are going to be getting the 50% move speed bonus long before that, and they really move once they have that buff on. The buffs did not show under the
Holy
NPCs
shit, they're hustling, dude. Look at them.
Though I'm sure a weak aura could be made to show timers near frames or something, if certain.
Hey, by the way, guys, Warlocks can still solo Princess Theradros. The Maradon Warlock solo gold farm. Good to go. I tried it. We're good. Don't even worry about it.
And AoE strats are found to be effective all the same.
Mages are in shambles, but Warlocks, hey, we're good, boys.
Here, for example, you can see the mobs running around and they're just going straight through Blizzard and Roots. I also pull some fresh mobs to show what they look like with improved Blizzard on them, and yeah, just look at that scope of difference. So this is going to make boosting problematic, though I do remember AoE farms in Sunken Temple hopping up and down a pillar, as well as, of course, Zul'Gurub, which I'm assuming has not been mentioned here because it won't be active at launch and will be addressed in the appropriate patch. Say hello to our new Paladin AoE farm Overlord, perhaps? At least they will always be getting hit in the face. It's definitely a start, all the same, but one that's going to need monitoring because players are really good at finding workarounds for stuff like this. One Blizzard needs to keep their eye on, but I like what I'm seeing all the same. But moving on, and possibly the most exciting news for me actually, the community-made hardcore challenge is being officially recognized by Blizzard. What a great thing to have happened.
Dude, they should just add hardcore servers. Just add hardcore servers, dude. Like the buff, like I get it. It's like a cool. It's better than nothing, but just add a fucking hardcore server. Like why not just add a dedicated hardcore server, dude?
It's in the patch notes as High Elf Watchers have made an appearance in Ironforge Library and Undercity Apothecarium, seeking to chronicle those who bear a soul of iron. So I'd like to start with a bit of history on the hardcore challenge and what it is in case you're a bit out of the loop. It's very simple. Get level 60 from 1. No deaths, no trading, no auction house, no mailbox. Be a self-sufficient character. Why on earth would I...
Do you think the 40% quest XP is too much? Dude, you want to know something? This might piss some of you guys off. I actually wrote a very long series of probably 3 paragraphs to a couple Blizzard community managers about why the 40% XP buff is actually not enough. Yeah, I'm actually trying to get it to be like 100% XP. I think it's not enough. Because here's the thing, dude. 100, what did I say? Classic WoW is about... Okay, Season of Mastery is about half as long as normal Classic. Classic WoW was 22 months. Season of Mastery is 12 months. So a little bit over half as long, okay? It's like maybe like 55 or 60% as long as the original. But the leveling... 40% XP buff only speeds up your leveling by like maybe 20%, right? So it's like 20% faster leveling, but almost 2 times faster server release, right? Server progression. The ratio doesn't line up. So your average classic WoW player normally goes from 1 to 60 in like 8 days / played. That's like average player. Leveling up, doing quests, not dungeon boosting, playing the game normally. It's like 8 days / played, right? So in the Season of Mastery, with the 40% quest XP buff, they're going to go 1 to 60 in like maybe 6 days, 6.5 days, something like that. I think a lot of people are going to start it, try it, or just look at it, watch a streamer do it and say, you know what? This is not fast enough. I can't justify spending 6 days or 6.5 days leveling up on a server that only has a 12-month lifespan. I'm not going to do it. I think it's actually really time prohibitive for a lot of people, given the server is only everyone knows it's a temporary server that's only going to last 12 months. So I think yeah, I think they probably should speed it up. I think they should speed it up. Yeah. I actually really do. Do you guys agree? Give me a true or false. True, you agree, false, you don't agree. I'm saying true. I think they should speed it up. True. It should be like 100% or some shit like that. I really think it should be. Yeah.
Anybody do this, you might say? Same reason people speedrun. Not just raids
Yeah.
in WoW either, but in general, like in ESA or GDQ. They like doing X activity. However, they've done it so many times the standard way that it's gotten repetitive or boring. But they still kind of want to do it, so they seek out their own challenge to spice things up a bit. Obligatory old school RuneScape mention here. In that game, a few players started off very successful series, notably Boaty's One Man Army or Foe's Ultimate Iron Man series, where they played the game as unofficial Iron Man with their own rule set, self-sufficient accounts, get as far as possible, don't die, pretty self-explanatory stuff. And Jagex...
And now Iron Man is like one of the most popular game modes in RuneScape, and it was actually completely player-driven. Okay, do you guys want to actually do the math? Okay, let's do the math here for a second. Normal Classic, 22 months, right? SOM, 12 months. Okay, what's the ratio, guys? 12 divided by 22. Okay, so it's 54% as long. Okay, 54% as long, right? So, quest XP while leveling. You guys can test this on your own if you keep track. It's like 40% of total XP. Okay? The other 60% of XP you get while leveling is from just killing mobs, right? So if you have a 40% bonus XP on 40% of your total XP, it's 0.4 times 0.4. What is that? You have an extra... So if you just look at the numbers, it should be 16% faster. But because you're getting like 16% more overall XP, it actually helps you with some breakpoints. It's a 40% increase to quest rewards. Yeah, only quest XP. Yeah, not mob XP, only quest XP. And quest XP is like only 40% of your total XP while leveling. How do you know quests are 40% total XP? Because I've leveled in this game 10 billion times, and I've done speed leveling, and I've tracked XP, and does anyone that actually played this game know this is true? Like, have you guys found the same thing? This is about the ratio, right? If you're playing the game normally, you're leveling up, you're doing quests, about 40% of your total XP is going to come from quest rewards. The rest is going to be just from killing mobs while you're leveling. So let's say it's probably actually more like 20% XP bonus because you're getting 16% more XP while leveling. You maybe have to travel less. You like, who here has been in a situation where you're level 29, you're in Duskwood, and you're like, fuck, I'm 29. I can go on to the 30 zones in one level or like half a level, but I need to get to level 30 first, and now I need to travel for like a half hour. I got to go to fucking South Shore, and it's going to take like a fucking half hour to get up there, and it's like annoying. Because you have the 16% more XP, you're going to hit those breakpoints more easily, and you're going to have to do less traveling or less suboptimal quests or whatever. So I think it's fair to bump this up. Like, you're going to be leveling because of the 40% quest XP bonus. You level like maybe 20% faster, right? If you're just normally questing and running around doing shit. So SOM leveling equals 20% faster. So this is what's out of whack here. This is what I'm saying. This is my point, right? Ignore all this bullshit now, okay? SOM equals 54% long as normal classic, but the leveling is only 20% faster, right? I'm concerned people either see this or watch streamers and kind of, approximate it, or they just they play in the beta and figure it out, and they say, I can't justify these ratios are not lining up, right? I think the bonus quest XP should be about 100% in order for the ratios to line up. It actually should be. The SOM bonus quest XP should be 100% rather than 40%. That's my take. I'm more concerned about the items dropped to content paste ratio. Items dropped? Oh, you mean like raid loot? Bro, having less raid loot is actually a good thing. Is actually a good thing. Yeah, so this is one of the concerns, right? Prior to BWL equals 8 MC lockouts, right? We can go ahead and this is a different conversation. Let me put a line there. And then, you know, prior to AQ 40 equals 8 BWL lockouts and then 16 MC lockouts. If the goal is to make the content a little bit harder and a little bit more challenging, having less loot effectively is contributing to that also, right? I remember when my guild power went into AQ40, it was like 35 out of 40 people on our A main on our main speedrun raid roster was completely full black when they were best in slot. 35 of 40 people had complete and total Blackwing layer best in slot gear, right? That's just another thing that contributes to these raids being so fucking easy. Whereas if you have less gear, the raids will be harder and, in my opinion, more fun, right? That's my take, and so that's my opinion. But I guess you're welcome to disagree with that.
Implemented Iron Man mode officially back in 2014, which has now grown to be a widely popular game mode with many divergent game types around it and its different rule sets. The two guys at the forefront of pushing it to be in the game even have their own NPCs on Tutorial Island and in Lumbridge, which is pretty cool. So how does our Iron Man mode work in WoW, or Soul of Iron, I suppose? So it's a buff that can be picked up from High Elves in either Ironforge or Undercity. If you die prior to arriving there, you cannot pick up the buff. This buff, or active effect, I guess I should say, it's not a buff, it doesn't give you any buffs as such, shows that you have never known defeat, indicating you are a hardcore character who has never died. You also get a special boy emote, WowE. If you die, you get a tarnished soul debuff that reduces all stats by 1%, effectively showing, well, you've died. And it doesn't appear to stack. I tried. When a hardcore character dies, they leave behind a soul.
You can actually, this buff, you can actually go back and talk to this Blood Elf guy, this guy, and he can remove the buff from you. And you can also give it back. Like, if you, it's sort of like a meme buff. Like, if you want it, you can have it. If you don't want it, you can get rid of it. You just have to talk to this guy and get rid of the buff or get it again.
Really? I think, first of all, it's cool that there is a proper way that you can recognize a hardcore character, but a bit more commitment into it would be nice, because for a lot of people, they're going to start at level 1, get a mage port to a starter zone they prefer, and kick off from there, which isn't very Iron Man-y, or receive gold, or enchanted items, profession kits, get boosted through dungeons for items or for quests still. I feel like there's going to be a handful of hardcore guilds that are going to regulate.
Let me see here. SOM isn't for people who take 10 days played to get to 60 and wipe with their shitty guild 100 times per boss. It's for tryhard. Wrong, bro. SOM is for Blizzard to make as much money off of classic players as they possibly can. Yeah, you need to understand the dynamic here, bro. SOM is a shameless cash grab, and we all like classic WoW enough to fall for it again, but it's a cash grab, okay? So they are going to do whatever they can possibly do. Dude, I will bet you money that within 6 months of SOM, they are selling boosts. What do you want to bet? I bet that they sell level boosts in SOM at some point. No fucking cap either. I hate to say it, but I think they will.
Things under the pre-established rule set. I think it makes sense that once you've chosen to be a hardcore character, you cannot remove the brand without a 7-day wait plus authenticator, as in you need to be absolutely 100% sure that you want to remove it. And once it...
You know, actually, now that I think about it, I feel like the backlash against the 58 boost, like, I think we actually did a really good job complaining. I think so many people have quit TBC, and so many people have complained. So many content creators spurred the fuck out about why it's bad. Maybe Blizzard actually regrets it. Do you think they learned their lesson? I feel like so many people got so fucking mad about it. And dude, they've got, like, so many people quit TBC too. Maybe in hindsight, like, you cannot deny the 58 boost did so much fucking damage. Like, the 58 boost, it hurt TBC so much. So much.
It's gone, that's it. You can't get it back. Yes, this is literally copy-pasting the old school RuneScape system, but I like the commitment of it. I feel as though in WoW in its current state, removing the ability to group or trade is a bit of a problem that doesn't fit at the moment in the long run. Now for the hardcore community at the moment, they do have duo and trio runs where you can trade between one another, as well as hardcore dungeons where all characters must be hardcore, as well as in a certain level range, and you can only do each dungeon once. And that works because the challenge within the community is get level 60. If you were just playing an Iron Man post 60, you run into two rather large issues. Class capability as a solo player. What I could do on a Warlock or a Hunter is...
Blizzard is shaking right now, not gonna lie. WoW isn't the only low point. Overwatch and Warcraft Reforged communities are also majority complain all day long. I mean, yeah, like, let's get out the legendary word pad again, okay? I don't think that Blizzard had planned on releasing Classic Fresh anywhere near this soon. Right? Blizzard is getting fucked in the ass like 10 different ways right now, okay? There's COVID, which has slowed down development for every game studio. Like, every game studio is suffering because of COVID to varying degrees. But also Blizzard had all the lawsuit shit, and Blizzard is down bad for multiple reasons. Let's make a list, okay? Reasons why SOM is coming out so soon. I 100% think it's sooner than expected, right? Blizzard in a bad spot. No explanation necessary. I think that TBC is not doing well. I don't think you can really deny that. TBC is not doing that well. Retail is quite literally dead. Obviously, Final Fantasy XIV has stolen literally hundreds. I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I'm not shilling Final Fantasy to you guys. Final Fantasy has stolen hundreds of thousands of players from World of Warcraft. There's no fucking way it hasn't. New World, despite all its faults, is doing pretty well. Actually, it actually is. New World is not really doing as bad as anyone had expected it to. Then we have new Final Fantasy XIV expansion in November. We have new Guild Wars 2 expansion in February. Yeah, Lost Ark, I guess. All of these, I don't even know when Lost Ark comes out, soon, I guess. These are all things that are hurting WoW right now. Hurting Blizzard, right? And Blizzard's solution, or Blizzard's response, they have nothing. They have nothing. There is no super badass retail patch. There is no... They don't have anything to counter any of this. So what do? Classic Fresh. It's free. It's like all the work is done pretty much, right? Yeah, just rehash. And they're doing this in retail too. Retail 9.1.5, adding, check it out. They're adding solo island expeditions. That's not how you spell, whatever, who cares? Plus Mage Tower. So these are both rehashed, slightly reformatted content from 1 or 2 expansions ago. Just because they need something. They just need fucking anything, and they don't have anything. They don't have... There's nothing new in the pipeline right now. They know they need something. So Blizzard is not in a good spot. Blizzard is not in a good spot right now. Yeah.
So much different from a warrior or a paladin, and professions being restricted to 2, meaning you have to drop and retake them a lot. The raid content entirely defeats the point of being a solo player as well, so it feels as though it's kind of off bounds unless your entire raid is hardcore. Essentially, in WoW, not everybody can do everything, and that's a bit of a problem for Iron Man players. Season of give everyone every profession slot, maybe? Also, an Iron Man is a long-term thing. This server is going to last for 12 months, after which we still don't know what will happen. Part of the hardcore community idea is to be somebody that acts in good faith towards the challenge and wanting to take part in that. And I think the community guidelines will fill the gaps here until maybe one day the game fits the format of just Iron.
Here's my take. Maybe other hardcore levelers don't agree. Ideally, you don't need community guidelines. Ideally, there's just a hardcore server, and that's it, right? We need community guidelines because it's not an official thing. In my dream hardcore scenario, we'd have a hardcore server. If you die, your character is deleted, and you would, in my opinion, you would be able to trade and use the auction house because you know everyone else is hardcore. I actually think not being able to trade and not being able to auction house sucks dick, but you have to have that rule set because other people are not hardcore, right? But if you know everyone is hardcore because they're on a hardcore only server, then in my opinion, it's actually okay. I'm okay. And that would open up, because right now one of the big issues with classic hardcore is like you can't level up enchanting. There's a bunch of profession patterns and things you just can't do them because you need to have like other things from other professions that you just can't get a hold of. It is impossible to level enchanting on a hardcore character because you need blacksmithing shit. You have to juggle professions back and forth, and it's annoying as fuck, right? So yeah, that would be my dream scenario.
Man, rather than hardcore, a bit better. Also, you're kind of susceptible to griefs on the hardcore from mob aggro from other people, infernals, Terry the Devourer paying Storm in a visit. Yeah, there's gonna be some rather tilting deaths, no doubt. All the same, I'm very excited about this. If you know me, you know I rather like my leveling, so this has definitely raised the interest levels for Season of Mastery. But moving on, the bit you're probably most excited about, raid changes. So on the first raid pass on the beta, Blizzard restored the old raid mechanics and slapped a 100% health buff on Onyxia and all of Molten Core, including the trash. And it was pretty underwhelming. Since then, we have had arguably one of the biggest bits of Classic news ever, to be honest. This is it, folks. If Classic Plus has a real starting point, this is it. This blue post is it. Let's take a look at it. They say, it became obvious quickly that the list of actual changes to most content in Molten Core and Nyxia was extremely short. I think there are about 4 changes total. I thought there wasn't that much, you know. They go on to say, we suspected that the total impact of the changes would likely not be meaningfully felt by players in 2021 who have an enormous amount of experience in these raids. We went with that blanket 100% health buff and that handful of restored mechanics. As we watched beta testers in game and listened to the reactions to our changes and restorations, it confirmed what we already thought going into this test.
WoW's UI bothers me. Dude, Chicken Noodle, to be fair, WillE has a complete fucking dogshit UI. His UI actually pisses me off also, okay?
Merely raising mob health and restoring a few removed mechanics was not hitting
this here is like egregious. WillE, fuck, bro.
The mark for what we wanted for a season focused on faster progression and more challenging content. As a result, with the next upcoming beta build, we're making some significant adjustments to almost every encounter in Molten Core and Onyxia's lair. Now that is a big deal.
That's today. We're doing that today.
They say we don't intend these or any future changes we make to Season of Mastery raid encounters to increase the difficulty of the content to a point where experienced prepared raid groups will have to wipe for days or weeks to progress it. We also don't intend to change the fights so much that they become completely unrecognizable or fundamentally different from their classic versions. Our intent is to provide something subtle and fresh to go along with Season of Mastery that feels very much in keeping with the spirit of the original encounters. So, significant adjustments but subtle and fresh. This has a lot of potential. I kinda wish they wouldn't beta test this stuff as much, to be honest. It feels as though we already know everything before we actually get to experience it. All the same, people would absolutely blast their way to level 60 with these XP buffs, and there'd be streams and videos about it on day 2, so you can't really avoid it unless you just avoid all information at all costs. But I do wonder how much people really want harder raids, seeing how SSC and TK is being a bit of a guild killer at the moment. I don't think you can push Classic too much, as it has 2 things that make it hard to, well, make it hard.
Yeah, I actually, it's like a weird thing. I think, interestingly enough, most Classic players don't really want raids that are that hard. I just think they want a low, chill experience with the bros. You know, they're having a fucking, have a Bud Light in one hand and they're, you know, semi-AFKing on Ragnaros with the other hand, and it's just like, you know, laughs and it's super chill. I don't think people play Classic WoW for the most hardcore fucking raid experience of all time. There's like 10 other games that do that, right? That being said, Classic raids are pretty fucking easy. Like, they're pretty fucking easy, so bumping up the difficulty a little bit, it's not the end of the world.
There's only one difficulty, and you have to get 40 people to do whatever song and dance a fight requires. So what kind of changes might they do? Well, let's speculate a little bit. I think they might add small core hounds on Magmadar that mimic his abilities and more spawn as the fight goes on. Maybe they don't mimic the fear, that'd be kind of obnoxious. Kind of like the fight in Blackrock Caverns in Cataclysm, if you know the one. Have the Rain of Fires persist for the entire
just make
fight
him
on
fear
Gehenna,
every 2
making
seconds.
encounter space shorter as the fight goes on. On Shazra, instead of just blinking then pressing Arcane Explosion, he now marks 3 people with a 5, 7, and 9 second debuff, which after they wear out, he teleports to each player and does an Arcane Explosion in order, I mean, you've got to sort out some kind of spreading very quickly or 2 arcane explosions, and you're probably dead. Have Golem the Incinerator do, you know, a bit more incinerating rather than just meleeing the tank, and so on. That's the kind of things I expect. Some update on the current abilities rather than overhauls to where the fights aren't even remotely similar. This has potential, it really does. Very exciting times, and personally, I am more interested in Season of Mastery than I was prior. However, I've got to say it, surely Season of Mastery will set the standard for
Yeah, I gotta say, like, you know, we did Molten Core the other day, what is like a week ago now, with the 100% bonus HP on all the bosses. It was like pretty boring, you know, just just doubling every boss's HP does not really make the encounters insanely more fun. Yeah, you had to do a couple more mechanics because the bosses died more slowly, but it wasn't really that engaging, right? So I'm actually excited to see potentially some bonus mechanics. We'll see.
raids moving forward
We're doing it
in
today.
future seasons, assuming this is well received. Going back on updating raids in the future would be like bringing spell batching back in for Classic again. Nobody wants that. I'm sure there'll be a season of we're going to change classes a lot eventually. Debuffs being removed does this a little bit, but can certain classes just not go boom in 1 minute? Your Ret, your Ellie, your Enhanced Shadow Boomy, and so on. Once you're happy with the fights and how they play out, take a look at the fight length once it's decided for Season of Mastery, and make some adjustments on the mana costs. I mean, with what we have on the beta at the moment gear-wise, I equipped what I could. It would have been nice with target dummies to show this better, but we didn't get any, unfortunate. But baseline a mage with its mana bar can cast nearly 25 frost bolts.
Dude, they should add target dummies. I'm not even talking the beta. Like, yeah, the beta, but also normal classic. Normal classic should have target dummies in Stormwind or something. Like why the fuck not? Like, let us like test our DPS or something. Why not? 100%.
Boomkin has gas in the tank for 15
Do it.
Starfires. Of course, you need to add all your extra mana effects, your potions, your dark runes, your evocation, your innovates, and so on and so forth. But there's such a big baseline difference between them. There could be a full balanced season of discovery at some point in the future. Raids are going to be more difficult, so it may actually enforce the melee meta even more so and push out the less viable classes. I think it'd be very nice if we give them more of a chance to actually be able to play their character.
I don't know, man. We'll see. Like, I still think Warriors are going to be best, right? But they're not going to have world buffs, and they're going to have, like, less than half as much gear. Unless your guild is pumping a disgusting amount of split runs to feed all your warriors. They're going to have way less gear, and they're going to have no world buffs. They're not going to be anywhere near as strong. Yeah. So, no one is nerfed more than warriors, probably, other than maybe red paladins, but who gives a fuck about red paladins?
Even if they still
still
obviously
in beta,
aren't going to be anywhere near topping the meters. Overall though, very happy with the direction, very keen to see what gets added raid wise. That's going to be interesting to check out. I'll definitely keep up to date on that. This is it though. This is pretty much your Classic plus content. Go for it, Blizzard. Let's see what you have. As always, let me know your thoughts on everything we've gone over and whether this has changed your mind towards Season of Mastery at all. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in.